54, 53, 54. I belonged to the club until in the late teens when I guess when he left, I think so like 59 and 1960, somewhere there, 60, early 60s. So we played basketball, we played tennis there, table tennis, volleyball, and that's about it as far as the sports. I was more involved with the basketball and table tennis. Mačiulis, Kostas Mačiulis there. Those are the two primary, coaches. Or Kostas was Vytas Grybas was involved with all the sports. He was basketball, he was table tennis, he was tennis. I was in Hamilton, Toronto, Cleveland, Boston, Detroit. And then there were tournaments at different cities there. So cities like Chicago, I think so, was a few times were invited. And then in Toronto, they had a couple clubs there.
We came to the United States in June 15th, to Rochester.
1960.
From Australia. Because my parents moved to Australia at the same time. My mother's side of the family moved to Rochester. And we lived there for 11 years. And then my aunt said, well, to her sister, come live here in the United States. So she sponsored our family, and we came by boat and traveled by train from San Francisco all the way across to Rochester, and got here in the summer. And I met, we basically came into the Lithuanian community right then, involved in church and Lithuanian school and Sokolas, because I found that there was a sports club here, and I was absolutely thrilled. And at that time, they started a women's basketball team, and we played on the women's basketball team, and we went to the same tournaments as the men, as the guys did. We played international rules basketball. It wasn't the 3-6 girl of the United States era, 6-girl team, and you couldn't cross over the half court and so on. So my sister and I did a lot of swimming. We swam for Sokolas. There was a Baltic Games in 1961 that was in Canada. We went there. We went to Detroit. We swam against other swimmers of Lithuanian descent in Detroit. I also played a lot of table tennis, and I was involved in all kinds of tournaments when I was 15 when I came, so 15, 16, 16, 1961, 62, and then I went away to college, and I didn't do too much more after that.
Kostas Mačiulis, I think so, was the primary coach there, because there was really nobody.
Yeah, he was the main force for Sokolas. He was
after Grybauskas left.
Yeah. My life revolved around the sports, whereas other people, they revolved around choir, chorus, or lietuvių scouting, but I was not really involved in any of those. I did go to a camp here and there, but I wasn't really a scout. My whole youth was involved with Sokolas and playing, you name it, I did it.
Dr. Antanas Klimas was born in Dzūkija, the southern part of Lithuania, in 1924. He attended Prisimena High School, where he studied Latin and German. He then attended the Kaunas Teachers College and eventually studied at the Baltic University in Hamburg. And then he got a scholarship to study at the University of Pennsylvania, where eventually he got his PhD in 1956 in linguistics. He came to the U.S. with a Lithuanian passport. And at the time later, many years later, when Lithuania regained independence and people were getting their new Lithuanian passports, Antanas Klimą said, "No one can take away my Lithuanian passport." He didn't do it. He was always a Lithuanian, and he didn't do that. But for the most part in Lithuania, he was a student. That's really what he did. And his parents were deported to Siberia in 1948. So he, at the age of 24, came to the United States, took 6 graduate courses, got 6 A's, and continued, as I said, to get his PhD in linguistics. And he was accepted to teach at the University of Rochester in 1957, where he taught for 32 years German, Russian, and linguistics. He loved teaching. That was his life. As much as he was a scholar, and he wrote over 200 articles about the Baltic languages and linguistics, he also lectured in Europe and in South America about Lithuanian language. But he was a teacher. He loved teaching. And if you asked him a question, he would go and elaborate about it. And whether he was teaching PhD students at the University of Rochester, or he was just casually teaching students at the St. George's Parish, he would apply the same level of intensity. He would explain it to the utmost, because that's what he loved to do. He came in 1948 with, as I said, on a student visa. He worked various odd jobs, barman, and he worked in a Campbell soup factory to support himself. But as I said, his major goal was to become a linguist, which he did. He taught himself English during the war. That's how he learned it, by himself. And languages were his ability. He was very gifted. And as I said, he wrote Introduction to Modern Lithuanian, which is a textbook, has all the Lithuanian grammar in it, and many people have learned Lithuanian through that book, and there were also tapes to the book. He received thousands of letters from people asking him for help, and I remember once he had a Taiwanese fighter pilot studying Lithuanian, and as I said, he was intense with his students. He was once chosen as the best teacher at the U of R, University of Rochester. He was very involved with the Lithuanian Community Organization, the Catholic Relief Fund. Every year they'd have an independence commemoration at the hall for the February 16th, 1918 independence from Tsarist Russia. And it's interesting because Lithuania was occupied at the time by the Soviet Union, but this was a celebration against Tsarist Russia. And my father would always be the MC, the master of ceremonies. And he'd invite congressmen, possibly sometimes the mayor of Rochester, and the mayor of Rochester would eat dinner at our house. And my father would discuss the current events in Lithuania. He also helped our acting group. He would help us with Lithuanian language. The accents are very key to Lithuanian language, and he would help us with that. He also helped write the St. George's Church Constitution. He was instrumental in doing that. And he was just all around active member of the parish for many years. He was asked by the Lithuanian Community Organization to go to South America in 1978, where he held various lectures in various countries in South America. And he always intensely talked about Lithuanian language. At the University of Rochester, he also had events where he spoke about Lithuanian language. He was well known as the expert in Lithuanian, and his many articles, over 200 articles, appeared in scholarly journals. He also edited the English language Lithuanians journal for many years, and he contributed to several Lithuanian newspapers. In fact, one of my goals is to have someone collect, because it was Draugas and many other, Tėviškės Žiburė in Canada, Aidas magazine. He has probably several hundred articles that could be composed into a book. But it would take time because some of these articles are probably not cataloged. They may be just in newspapers. So it would take someone time to find them all. But they're all about the Lithuanian language, and his writings were very explanatory. So it would be a great project for some student to put these all together. I would just say that he was a patriot. I remember him telling me that if Lithuania regained independence, that there would be all sorts of Lithuanians. And what he meant was actors, athletes, famous doctors. They would all come out, and he was right. This is exactly what happened. And because of the occupation, Lithuania was forgotten. The identity of Lithuania was forgotten. It was erroneously said to be a part of the Soviet Union. And in fact, my father once had a professional PhD society give him a membership. And it said in the membership that he was born in the Soviet Union. I had never seen him so angry, ever. He told the society, if you don't correct this, I am not a member. I was born in a free Lithuania. I'm a Lithuanian. So, and he was very active, if you remember, in Simas Kudirka, the seaman that jumped ship in the 60s, like 68. And he helped Kudirka, well, he did his best to help Kudirka get freedom. He talked to Congressman Frank Horton once, and also, the second time I saw my father very angry. He knew Frank Horton from the time Frank Horton was on the school board in Rochester, New York. And he called Frank Horton and he said, look, we're not going to vote for you. He got angry. And Frank Horton helped him, and he helped me with my walks. But basically, my father was a patriot. He always believed Lithuania could regain independence.
We first heard about Paulius Klimas back in 1988 walking for freedom. It was a 500-mile journey from Rochester to Washington, D.C. But Klimas was determined, and after 23 days, he reached the U.S. Capitol and the White House. Although he didn't get to meet then-President Reagan, he was able to convey the plight of Lithuanian dissident Peter Gražulis to a high-level White House official. And Paulius, I understand that Gražulis subsequently was freed from his imprisonment.
I went to a Lithuanian Youth Association political seminar in the beginning of '88. It was in February. And I was very inspired by the Lithuanian Information Center at the time, providing a speech about Gražulis, Petras Gražulis. He was the first dissident sentenced during Gorbachev's Glasnost program, which was an openness in the Soviet Union, or the occupied Lithuania, I should say. And Gražulis had been conscripted into the Soviet army, and he had served 2 years duty. He was done. And he went to an independence celebration in Latvia, and the Russians didn't like that. So they forced him back. They said, "You're going back to the army." He said, "No, I've completed my 2 years duty. I'm finished." And then he had a trial, and tear gas was sprayed in his face because he spoke out for Lithuanian independence. And I felt that someone had to help him. I just had this big connection sitting in Congress meeting room, and there was a lot of young Lithuanians there, people that had the same ideas that I did. And I thought that somehow I have to help him. And my first idea was to organize a big rally in DC, have all these cars come into DC. But then I realized that, so what? You drive a car, everybody can drive a car. That's not going to make any news. So I decided that I had to walk from Rochester to the White House. And I had learned that President Reagan was going to meet Gorbachev at the end of May. And I thought if I carried a letter to Reagan indicating that help free Gražulis get freedom, because he was the first dissident sentenced during Glasnost, that would create some publicity. But I didn't have much time to prepare. So, but as I said, I was so inspired by him and all these young Lithuanians that were there at the seminar. I just had to do something. Unfortunately, I was at the rally when Reagan left the White House, but I didn't get a chance to meet him. Ambassador Lozoraitis, who at the time was the charge d'affaires, Lithuania hadn't regained independence yet, but it was Ambassador Lozoraitis who allowed me to have an interview with WTOP Radio, the main news radio in Washington, D.C. And I explained Gražulis' case and what I was doing to WTOP. And then I had a meeting after that at the White House with a member of the National Security Council. And I walked into that office thinking, I'm tired. I just walked all this way from Rochester. Here I have to explain everything again, who I am, what I'm doing. And the first thing this National Security Council member said to me was, "By the way, I heard your interview this morning on WTOP. I know why you're here." I was so relieved. And the second thing he said to me, "If you need a letter taken to President Reagan in Moscow, I'm going to meet him and I can take that letter." So immediately, we had a 10-minute meeting. It was all over. Everything I wanted was done. And eventually Gražulis was released. It took several months, but he was released. It was called the Baltic Freedom Walk. We started in Tallinn, Tallinn, Estonia. We walked through Riga, Latvia, into Vilnius, Lithuania, for Baltic independence. It didn't take much. Well, it really wasn't that hard because we had a car following us. In fact, some of the walkers were surprised when I would stop and have political meetings, and they felt like we should keep going. But it wasn't a race, it was a political statement. They didn't really understand that. I wanted to talk to people, I wanted to talk to journalists, I wanted people to know that we care about the Baltic states, that they can be independent again. And when I finished the walk in Vilnius on June 14th, there was a Russian radio station there. And they, through an interpreter, because my Russian isn't very good, they told me point blank that this is such a small event for the Baltics. It's very small, insignificant. And I told them a Lithuanian proverb, lašas į lašą ir akmenį prataš, basically, a drop by drop and the rock will melt. And of course, I agree, it's a small step, pun intended. But if we put all our efforts together and work as a team, we can accomplish a lot. And that is the key to all Lithuanian activities. We have to work together with our Baltic neighbors, with other former occupied countries, to make a difference. And I think that's what I did. I cannot take credit for Lithuania's independence. I don't. But as being a part of it, and as a friend of mine, Vytautas Bogišius, a member of Lithuanian Parliament, said, he hoped that this is the last walk for Lithuanian independence. And I concur with him. There's no need for any more walks. Lithuania regained independence. I'm very concerned about disinformation, what Putin is doing with RTV in the United States, and the fact that he denies the occupation of Lithuania. He denies the occupation of Lithuania and the deportation of Baltic citizens to Siberia, among others. We have, as I said, Lithuania's identity was hidden for so long, for 50 years. There was no Lithuanian citizen, there was no flag, you couldn't sing the anthem. We're up against a lot. And could Lithuania be occupied again? It would take 72 hours physically for the soldiers, the Soviet soldiers, the Russian soldiers to come in. Is it possible? I think so. But what I'm more worried about is these people who want to rewrite history. The communists in the world conservatively killed probably 50 to 70 million people. No one really knows exactly how many. But if you think that there's always some kind of weird comparison between what the US has done and what the former Soviet Union did, I think is illogical. Certainly, in this country there are problems. I will not deny that. But you can go to any library, you can find the information, you can go on the internet, you can speak out. Just try to speak out against Putin. Just try to do that and see how far you can get. So I will never accept the fact that there's some kind of similarity between Russia and the United States. This is a great country we live in. But yes, I am worried. Lithuanians have to work very hard to maintain the truth about their history. And it is a battle. It's a battle every day. And we have to be proactive. That's what I did with my walks. I didn't just sit back and react to what they did. I answered questions. I put in, I couldn't just come on and say, freedom for Lithuania. I walked for Gražulis, one man walking for another. But then when I got the publicity, I could do another walk for independence, and then I could say it. So we have to do our homework, and we have to stand up. In the old days, when people did something for Lithuania, I remember, why are you doing it? You're occupied. Why do we have independence commemorations? Lithuania is occupied. I was questioning at the time too, but I remember my father always saying, maybe there is a glimmer of hope. Maybe there's a chance. And all those events, all the commemorations and all the folk dancing and all the Lithuanian school, it all makes sense now. And people who say Lithuania is free, let the Lithuanian politicians do it, we don't have to do anything, I don't agree. And now what I would say is, you have to push Russia to acknowledge that there was an occupation, to acknowledge that there were deportations. And I know people will say to me, Putin will never do that. But we have to push. We have to. Because it's the truth. And you think of like South Africa. No one thought apartheid would fall. It did. We have to have the same mentality. We have to go up against these people who deny everything we stand for. And we have to fight them peacefully. And we can do it. We can do it. Look what the Lithuanians did with the singing revolution and the Estonians and Latvians. It's possible, but we have to be proactive. We can't just sit back and wait for Russia to do something. And if we stand up, stand together, and work with all the other former occupied countries, we can make a difference. And that's what I hope people will do. It's one person can't do it himself. But if we work as a team and we believe in ourselves and believe in our dreams, we can make that difference.
I am called as a third waver, I don't know why we say that, because, well, first was the 1940s, and then the people, then the DPs, and then we were the third waver after 1991 who came to United States. And now there's a fourth wave called so on and so forth. Somehow, yes, and I am called a third waver immigrant. And so what happens is, because people were so anxious to have such new ideas, and we were not allowed to leave the country. And when we left. A lot of people left from after 1991 because everyone wanted to express themselves, to express things that we couldn't do it at that time. So America was one of the choices that you could come, and we had that little spot choice of come here. It was 1991, January 13, which is my birthday. And on my birthday, we were celebrating, and it's just, you know, I was young at the time, but it's just the feeling that when we heard on the radio, we suddenly, you know, playing outside and having a good time, ready for having a cake, and it's my birthday, you know, and I'm sitting there, and it says, the tanks are coming. What tanks? We're like, what's going on? Then suddenly it says, TV is occupied, everything is dark, and like the Vilnius's tower is occupied, and things are happening. We don't understand what's happening, we're kids, you know. And when we heard this noise, very loud noise, which was a tank, because coming right through the fields where we lived, because we are more north, so they were coming through Latvia, the northern side. And a couple days of that, then TV came back, then everything was recorded, and people sacrificed themselves for freedom. And it was just horrifying, the feel of getting through this. It was just really scary. So we've been occupied for 55 years under Russian occupation, and we did not know anything better than what it was given to us, and most of the things that I was growing up already. So I came as a senior. I'm just recalling a couple things that it was constantly that this is what you have, and there's no any other countries. You're not allowed to leave anywhere. Only Russian you will talk. And you are not allowed to learn what we are giving it to you. These were just kind of brainwashing ideas given to people by Russians. So, and I think that's the communism. I came in 1996, and I was 16. And we just came because my mother lived here already. So, and in the relationship of that, we had relatives who ran away in 1940s. That's how we came as an immigrant. And so when I came here, I came to St. George's Lithuanian community. I couldn't understand what are they doing or what was happening. Through the years, sure, college and everything I finished, it became more important when I started my own family. And then I wanted only thing to my kids to learn only Lithuanian, so I decided to join the group. The group was Rochester Lithuanian Community. And I started volunteering slowly, and then became now as a Rochester Lithuanian president at this moment, to help to continue the the love of Lithuania and the belief, and to have that does require a lot of time and effort to me and to all the people who helped me to continue to have that group together.
I came to United States 1999. I think I complete circle of American dream. My great parents came here at beginning of 19, and my grandma was born here in Chicago. And when she was 10 years old, they came back to Lithuania and start big, nice farm. But unfortunately, when Russians came, they took everything from us, and they never came back to US. But I think I did that American dream when I came to US, became US citizen, and I live happy here. I worked on a radio and the school and Lithuanian Community Heritage Society and bendruomenė also.
I came here on July 14th, 2010.
And why did you leave Lithuania?
Well, we left Lithuania for a couple of reasons. My mom's mother lives here, and we just kind of were looking for a better life because we were having some trouble in Lithuania, so my mom and I just came here. Well, when I came here, I took like an exam to see which grade I would get put in, and I got to go to the 4th grade here. So there's obviously some academic difference, but there's also a huge difference in just the way that schools are structured and everything. I didn't find it hard to adapt, but there was more adapting to do than I thought would be necessary. It took a while before I started talking to people, before I started learning how to communicate, how to use the English language in the vernacular. Does that make sense? So yeah, once that happened, it just kind of eased into normal life. I'm obviously involved with St. George's Parish, and I'm involved in most, if not all, of the events that they set up. Like I'm part of the Gervickas Lithuanian School as well. I'm a teacher's assistant, so I help out in teaching the young kids as well.
As honorary consul, I represent Lithuania's interest in upstate New York, and I have to protect and watch for the interests of all the Lithuanian citizens that are in the area, and also be involved and promote the Lithuanian activities among the Lithuanian American community in Rochester. Right after Lithuanian independence was regained, I had the opportunity to travel to Lithuania quite often, yearly, or sometimes twice or 3 times a year, as I belonged and worked in the Lithuanian world community. I was a vice president, and one of my responsibilities was to maintain relationships with the Lithuanians in Lithuania. And one thing that I noticed and experienced was the lack of understanding and actually having some of these democratic processes and institutions as we have them here. Particularly the concept of volunteerism was really almost non-existent in Lithuania. And that kind of gave me an idea when I moved to Rochester years later to really to help in that area, in this volunteerism concept, by establishing a sister city committee. The purpose of this elitist Rochester Sister City Committee is to foster understanding between the people of Alytus and people of Rochester. And I added another dimension, and that being that it should help foster and preserve our own Lithuanian heritage. Many of its activities and involvement in the local area and the civic area especially is disappearing due to time. We do a collection of gifts, Christmas gifts for our children, for senior citizens, and that has been done now for about the last 4 or 5 years. We have exchange programs with the Alytus City College, where 2 of our professors from Geneseo College have gone to Alytus to teach, and in turn we have the professors